Hey y'all, my name is Kate Armstrong and I'm a third-year sociology major at Cal Poly and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm making this short video today to talk a little bit about why historically white fraternity and sorority life, otherwise known as Greek life, is inherently racist. This is a really difficult thing to talk about. I myself was a member of Greek life. I really worked to try to make change from within the system, but I came to learn that that was a really challenging thing to do. So this video is for anyone who maybe was in my position, who is currently in Greek life, has been in Greek life, or anyone that has any kind of relationship to Greek life. So we're just going to talk about a few quick points on the history and just how racism perpetuates within the system. So first things first, Greek life is historically discriminatory. The first fraternity was founded in 1776, and the group membership reflected the demographics of universities at the time, which was dominantly white. And it stayed this way for many years. Plessy versus Ferguson constituted the separate but equal, which allowed more people of color and black individuals to join higher education, however, not at historically predominantly white universities, therefore unable to crack and get into Greek life. It wasn't until decades after that, post-civil rights era, that people of color were allowed into sororities and fraternities. So they just haven't had a space in these organizations. And now that they do, they still have these institutional barriers that keep them from having full, complete membership like a white member would have. And this looks like being treated differently in recruitment, having a lack of alumni, and not having someone who's in the space that looks like them. So the history and these institutional effects coupled together make being in Greek life really challenging for people of color. Second of all, historically white Greek life is not the only option for people of color. Black Greek life organizations, Asian Greek life organizations, etc. started popping up in the early 1900s, allowing them to have a space to have people that understand the challenges that come with their racial identity. However, they are not subject to the same standards as white Greek life organizations. They are expected to commit more to professionalism, community service, etc. because they have more of an expectation to combat these negative stereotypes that come with their identity. On the other hand, white Greek life organizations have much less accountability and visibility because of their racial homogeneity in the history of their existence, and they're able to get away with things like sexual assault cases, hazing mishaps, binge drinking, etc. These things that we know to be so harmful to a community, yet happen time and time again. The fact that these organizations are not held to the same standards is racism in itself. Lastly, in Greek life, the white experience is centralized and the person of color experience is racialized. This looks like for a white member not having to identify with their racial identity, because since the creation of these organizations, whiteness has been perpetuated and consistently kept hegemonic. For a person of color hoping to gain entry into this organization, they are met with tokenization, being one of few people of color and being held to a certain standard of what that looks like. This looks like combating stereotypes and feeling like you have to be exactly what the organization wants you to be for the identity that you hold, and having to fight for your identity in a space where you don't see many other people that look like you. And this is all due to the nature of the organization that has benefited off of a colorblind ideology for so long. Conversations and changes are so crucial to embrace people of color as they are and the diversity that they bring to these organizations. However, with all of these institutional barriers and things that these organizations have perpetuated for hundreds of years, there's far too many things that are in the way of tangible change to make a safe environment for people of color in white Greek life organizations. In conclusion, there are endless barriers for people of color finding safety within white Greek life organizations, and it's pretty clear that institutional racism isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But I hope that these ideas have sparked new conversations, new thoughts, and brought you a new perspective. Thanks for listening.